You donate bibi for my we team and bibi back. What you say? Now I say when you year for the next fiscal year, baby, mono. Jeff, over to you.
All right, so thank you all for tuning in to WJC 98.3 FM, your voice of music, your station. My name is Jeff Badu, and I am a licensed certified public accountant in the state of Illinois. I am the owner and practitioner of my firm, Badu Tax Services, and we specialize in tax preparation, tax planning, and tax representation for individuals and businesses of all sizes across all 50 states in the U.S. So today's topic, it's a pretty quick one. So we'll be doing some New Year's resolutions, financial edition. So about 9 things that you should do for this upcoming year that can significantly improve your finances. But before we do that, I would like to kick it off with a market report. So this report is as of last Friday, December 15, 2017. Each of the benchmark indexes listed essentially closed last week in a black, led by the NASDAQ and the Dow, both of which climbed over 1%. Stocks appear to have followed the ebb and flow of the proposed tax plan, which seems to have enough support for congressional passage this week. The tax plan actually just passed yesterday, and I actually just came out with a piece today to distribute to my clients, different prospects, different partners, and different things like that. So the tax plan is official, just pending the president's signature, which is 99% chance of happening. So that's something to be on the lookout for next year, and it will be effective as of January 1st of 2018. So as of about, let's say, 9 or 10 days from now. So the tax plan is big. It's what's really fueling the stock prices right now. It's a hot topic. It's a great time to be a CPA, as I said on Facebook. And this is really a great time to be talking about taxes. And today's topic is not about taxes, but the next time we meet will be about taxes and all the different things that are going along. Hopefully by that time, the president's signature will be on a dotted line and we'll be able to move on with our lives. So what happened is investors may see a lowering of corporate taxes, which is one of the big pieces of this new tax plan, as leading to an increase in company profits and value. So if you're lowering the taxes of these corporations, you're ultimately increasing their bottom line, which ultimately boosts the stock price and puts more money into the pockets of shareholders. So if you're not an investor today, you might want to be an investor starting next year or maybe tomorrow. I highly recommend that you start investing and you take some initiative into investing, because these corporations are more than likely going to continue the trend of higher stock prices. And then, of course, the Federal Reserve increased interest rates. So there was a 25% or 25 basis point increase in the federal funds rate, which didn't seem to have much of an impact on investors, at least not right now, because we've seen 3 interest rate hikes this year. We'll probably see some more next year. We only seen 1 last year. So just different things like that, they can really impact our finances. And then the price of crude oil climbed slightly to $57.34 per barrel to $57.63. Price of COMEX gold went up from $12.50.50 to $12.58.20. So gold went up, crude oil went up, the markets are up. And overall, let me just give you some things into perspective. The Dow Jones is up 24.74% so far this year. NASDAQ is up 28.86%. S&P 500 is up 19.52%. Russell 2000 is up 17.77%. Global Dow is up 20.29%. And overall, we've had a fabulous year. I mean, this is absolutely the best year that I've ever witnessed in the stock market, or in any market for that. Bitcoin is getting higher. It's around 17,000 right now. Bitcoin Cash just came out on Coinbase, and so that price has been driving up lately. So the key with this is that if you haven't invested this year, and this is something I'll talk about in my New Year's resolutions, is that you might want to become an investor next year. Because if you don't, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're going to be burned out with inflation. And the Federal Reserve just keeps hiking interest rates because the economy is doing really well right now. So as the economy is doing well, the interest rates will just continuously keep increasing. We might have 3 hikes next year. And I don't believe a recession is coming anytime soon, no matter what people say out there. There's no signs whatsoever, really, of a recession coming anytime soon. At least not within the next 2 years. Maybe within the next 5 years, but certainly not within the next 2 years or so. So we're still in good position. If you haven't invested, I highly encourage you to do so. Go buy a stock. Go buy some Bitcoin. Do whatever you have to do. The key is you got to get in. Maybe it's $100. Maybe it's $200. Maybe it's $25. Maybe it's $5. The key is you have to get in. And so, transitioning into the main topic for today, really New Year's resolution financial edition. So 9 things you can do to really improve your finances going into the new year. So remember, this is not something that we're setting, New Year's resolution and then 2 months later we forget about it. This is something we'll be doing throughout the entire year, not just the first month or maybe the first 2 weeks or so. This is actually something we're doing for the whole year and then throughout our lifetimes as well. If you follow these 9 things, we'll probably be successful financially. And remember, finances can affect a lot of different aspects of a person's life. Their marriage, their kids, their school, their happiness, lifestyle, all those different things, church, the religious, all those different things. We always need some money to be able to back us and be able to do the things that we really want to do. So let's get into the presentation. So the first thing I want you to do for 2018 is to develop a budget and set goals if you haven't done so already. So remember, a budget is a foundation. It is the layground. It's the land to the house. So if you don't have good land, if you have a landmine on your land, if you have a bunch of oil sitting on your land, your house, if you build a house on it, it's going to collapse. Same thing with a budget. If you don't have a budget, or if your budget is not intact, you yourself, you being the house, will collapse. So you must and absolutely develop a budget. You have to have a budget. Remember, key components of a budget, you just put your income, how much money is coming in, and then you put your expenses, how much money is going out. So we must have a budget, and we must be able to set goals. So with this budget, we can set tangible goals in there that, hey, every single month, we only plan to spend X amount of dollars, or we plan to make X amount of money. So we always want to set goals, and we want to put deadlines on those goals too, because there's no sense of setting a goal and it's just out there without any sort of deadline or anything like that. So we must be able to set goals, and we must be able to develop a budget ultimately. And so just keep in mind, a budget is a foundation. We must have it. Without the budget, we can't do any of these other things that I'm mentioning today. So you must have a budget. You put in your income, you put in your expenses, and then you have your net income or your disposable income. If you need templates, I definitely have them available for you. Or you can use sites like Mint.com. You can talk to a financial advisor. They have different tools and technologies to be able to get your budget all set up. So I highly recommend that if you do not have a budget, you should get one. And having a budget doesn't mean you're poor. I mean, some of the wealthiest people in the world, they have a budget. Like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, even Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world today, he probably has a budget. And so a budget is always good to have, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you expect to make. A budget tells you where you are, and then it helps you determine where you want to go. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and this ties back to the budget, is to evaluate your savings goals. So remember, typically the benchmark is that you set 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses, that you put that money towards the bank, or you put it towards your reserves. So you absolutely have to have reserves. That's one of the reasons, probably the number one reason why a lot of Americans are one missed paycheck away from financial distress, or they are in financial distress. They're going through some sort of hardship. They're going through something bad that's going to damage them financially. So I highly recommend that if you don't have a savings goal, or if you don't have savings, start developing one. And remember, always start small, and then you start small, think big. Start small, and then you gradually get bigger. So let's say you make $1,000 a month, and let's say disposable income. Well, maybe you just put $100 a month into the bank. Just $100. As a matter of fact, you don't even see it. And I'll talk about this next. But you don't even see it. That money goes directly into a savings account. It goes straight into a savings account without you ever even seeing it. You don't even know. I mean, you know this money exists. But to a certain extent, this money is not money that's readily available. You just don't even see it. It's like the air. It just passes by you. So once you have an account like that, let's say you're doing $100 a month, and the next month you're like, okay, this is going well, or 2 months from now, this is going really well. So then you ramp it up to $250, and then you do $500, and then be sure to invest some of it, which we'll talk about later. But you always want to have money saved up. You always want to have reserves, because it can really kill you. What if an emergency happens? God forbid, what if you get into a car accident and your car gets totaled? You don't have gap insurance. Now you have to come out of pocket and pay the bank their money. So we absolutely must have reserves. We absolutely must have savings, because if we don't, we're putting ourselves in deep, deep financial trouble. It's like standing in front of a freight train that's coming your way, pretty much. So if you don't have something like that, you will struggle ultimately. So the way I do it is I keep about 3 months in reserves. 1 month is always in a bank, and then the other months are in the forms of lines of credit, some very safe investments, something that's very liquid that I can easily tap into in case the worst happens. And then I also have retirement accounts, which I don't really consider part of my reserves or my savings. But if the worst thing in the world happens, I know I can dip into those and potentially get some money out of them. I never recommend people dip into retirement early, no matter what the circumstances are, unless it's an absolute emergency, or unless you have the #1 investment in the world going on right now. You should never touch your retirement account early. Instead, what you can do is get a line of credit. You might dip into your savings. You might get another job. You might have a side hustle, an investment, something like that. I never recommend dipping into retirement early, because a lot of people forget that not only do they have to pay taxes at their regular tax rate, but there's also a 10% penalty if you're under the age of 59 and a half. So just something to keep in mind is that you always want to make sure that you have your proper finances in order, and you're not dipping into your nest egg or your retirement savings. So always have a savings going. Remember, $100 a month, $200 a month, or maybe you received a bonus and then you just dump the whole lump sum into a savings account to establish your 3 to 6 months. The key is you have to have those 3 to 6 months of your living expenses or your monthly expenses. If you don't have that, then that's a huge problem. So we absolutely must have that. So that's number 2 on the list. And the number 3 on the list is to pay down some debt. Remember, there's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is something that puts money in your pocket. So, for example, a real estate investment that has a mortgage on it, but it's leading you income. So it's generating you rental income, cash flow, positive each and every month. Tenants pay you rent every single month. That's good debt, because it's debt you don't even have to pay for. The tenant pays for it. And then you have bad debt. That's debt. That's money that's literally eating you up financially. It's draining your net worth. And so bad debt's things like student loans, things like payday loans or credit cards, different things like that. You might want to reduce them. You don't just want to absolutely pay them off completely without having some sort of plan. I always recommend that you invest first before you pay down these debts. But let's say you have a credit card that has 30% interest on it, and you know for a fact you can't get 30% anywhere else. You're not comfortable to invest in Bitcoin and see overnight returns and things like that. If you can't get 30% somewhere else, then please, by all means, pay off that credit card if you have the means to do so. Don't pay it off and end up homeless the next day. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're paying down debt at a comfortable level. Let's say we have rental income coming in. Not only is it paying off the good debt, the mortgage, let's say now it's paying off the credit card debt as well. So that's super good debt, because it's knocking out good debt and bad debt at the same time. And so overall, try to set a debt plan, or try to set a way to pay down your debt. One way to do this is they call it the snowball effect, where basically you start chunking away. So you take the smallest balances, you start paying those off, and then you always pay the minimum payments. and then you make extra payments towards the smallest one. And then once that's knocked out, you take that money, whatever you were paying, apply to the next debt. So now you have more money going towards the other debts, and then you're still doing your minimum payments. You knock out the second one, and then you take that whole money and take out the third one, and the fourth one. So this is a great strategy. It's called the snowball effect, but I believe it also has some negative implications. Let's say the snowball effect applies to a credit card. Well, the problem with a credit card is that once it's paid off, it's a revolving balance, or it's a revolving credit line, meaning you can use it anytime you want. So let's say it's Christmas, which it is around that time now. So next Monday is Christmas. So you go to the mall, or let's say before then you go to the mall. You've paid off all your credit cards. You're happy. You're celebrating. But you know you have to buy some Christmas gifts. You see a lot of great things out there. You have a credit card. 90% of the time you're probably going to use that credit card to buy something. So then you end up in even more debt. So my recommendation with that one is don't go to the mall. Don't go anywhere with the credit card. Use it for emergencies. Go to the place with your debit card. That way you know that this is your money you're spending. So me personally, I would not recommend you, once you've paid off the debt, that you just get into more debt. That's not what we do when we're doing these things, because it can really drain you financially. And worst of all, the interest is not even tax deductible in most cases, unless you own a business, unless it's some sort of home equity line, which they're going to get rid of. So just something to keep in mind. You might want to pay down some debt as well. Remember, you're not paying down good debt. You're not dumping a $100,000 check or bonus that you received into a rental property. That's not what we're doing. There's other ways that we can do certain things like that in the form of lines of credit and different things like that, or home equity lines. And then fourth on the list is to automate. Remember, this is what I was talking about with the $100 a month. Make sure your phone bills or all your bills are automated. Meaning you don't even have to see it. You don't even have to look at it. You don't even have to punch any buttons for this bill to get paid. Once you put your life on autopilot, it will make it that much easier. I'll tell you myself, I have about 25 bills each month that I pay. Some of them are investment related, and some of them are not. About, say, 15 of those are investment related. And by investment, I mean like permanent life insurance. I mean my investment fund. I consider my phone bill an investment because I need my phone to get business done. I consider my advertising, that's an investment for my companies. So overall, I have a lot of bills. So it's hard for me to go, let's say each bill is due, let's say out of that 25 bills, each is due once every day for 25 days. There's no way I'm about to go to all 25 sites once a day and go in and punch in my card info and all of that stuff. So I have auto pay automatically going. So I don't even have to think about it. I just have to make sure that enough money is in the account that's being pulled from. So try to automate your life as much as possible. It's very nice to automate it. Maybe you need a virtual assistant. I have a virtual assistant that I utilize. I'm not at the level to pay bills yet. More so on this very administrative work, like emails and setting up meetings and different things like that. So try to automate your life as much as possible and set up those automatic payments and do those automatic investments. For example, Acorns. I invest $5 a day, and I'll be doing that for the rest of my life, no matter what. No matter if I end up homeless on the street, no matter anything that happens in my life, I will always invest $5 a day, at least, minimum, every single day of my life. And it's easy. Every single morning, they take out the money out of my bank, they put it into the index fund, or they put it into a set of ETFs. I choose which risk tolerance level I have, and they just put it in there. And I don't even see it. Sometimes I forget the account even exists, and then I look at it, I'm like, wow, this is a nice sum of money. So you might want to set up an account like Acorns, especially if you're not comfortable investing. And then the next thing is to think about just organizing your financial documents. I know we receive a lot of mail, a lot of junk, a lot of different things that come to us every single day in our inboxes. So try to keep a nice, neatly organized folder or lockbox or something of important documents. Your passport, your driver's license, or a copy of the driver's license. You might have a birth certificate, or you might have marriage certificate, or just different things like that. Try to keep it all in a neatly organized way. What I recommend is you get like a safe, something you can lock up, something that's water and fireproof. You put those documents in there, and then you also, but before you do that, you want to make sure you have electronic copies on a flash drive that's password protected. So that way, if a disaster happens, and even if this bulletproof or this fireproof or waterproof thing ends up burning up, you at least have some sort of electronic version of it. And most people accept electronic stuff nowadays. So just something to keep in mind, just in case you lose it. And a lot of these documents, they can be regenerated. So just something to keep in mind. But you still want to have, you want to prevent something from happening. You don't want to stand in front of a train when you see it coming, or when you know it's about to come 10 minutes from now. You want to get out of the way, first of all. Stand on the sidelines, wait for the train to come. You go into the train, and then you go on your way. You don't stand in front of the train, also known as setting yourself up for failure and different things like that. And other things too, invest. This is a big New Year's resolution. If you haven't made this commitment, if you haven't started investing, if you're still scared of the stock market, if you're still scared of investing, well, guess where the scariest place your money can possibly be? In my opinion, the scariest place that your money can possibly be is in a place where it's not doing anything. Because that's guaranteed failure to me. That means that your money is not growing. Your money is not doing anything. It's literally sitting there. People are borrowing from it every day. I might have even borrowed your money at some point by going to Chase Bank or any one of these banks. We must be able to utilize our money. The worst place we can put our money is in a place, for one, we can't track performance, and it's a place where it's not growing. If money is not growing, it's a waste of time. It should not be there. Now, you should have you should have an emergency fund. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not considering your emergency fund. This is more so extra cash that you might have, maybe a bonus you might have received, and it's just sitting there in the bank. So I believe that money is better utilized somewhere else. So I feel the riskiest place you can put your money is somewhere it's not growing. Because for one, you're going to be losing money every year because of inflation, 2 to 3% every single year. So there's two reasons why we invest: to beat inflation, and then to take advantage of compound interest. So if we're not doing these things, then we're essentially losing money, which is very risky. It's just like having a job. The riskiest thing you can do in life, or from a stability standpoint, or one of the riskiest things that can happen, is for you to have one source of income, also known as a job. Maybe this is your day job. Well, guess what? There is no security with a day job unless you literally have a contract that says that you can be there for as long as you need to be. Because most employment nowadays, especially with millennials and the flexibilities and everything, most employment is at will, meaning they can fire you, you can fire them at any time. So there's zero security when it comes to that. Unless you're the best of the best, even then there's still no security. Just look at what happened during the recession. Everybody was getting laid off. There was no security whatsoever. So if you still believe job security exists, it does not exist unless you have a strict contract that you're under. And then number 7, this is huge. This is what changed my life this year, is educating yourself. So with all this tax reform going on, with all this, all these different things going on, you must be educated. You have to be. You have to be in the know. This is the information age. One who does not have information does not succeed in this age or in this generation. We need to have the information. We need to be able to listen to things. For me, I read a lot of books. I've read, I'm on book number 29 right now, personal finance book, because I want to educate myself on personal finances, because I advise people on these things. So it's in my best interest to learn these things so I can enhance the value that I provide to my clients and to myself as well, and then to my kids and to my family and different things like that. So you must educate yourself. Always pay attention. And when I say educate yourself, I don't mean watching soap operas and watching, The Bachelor or something like that. That's not really educating yourself. That's not educational material. That's entertainment. When I say education, I mean keeping up with the tax plan, keeping up with what's going on in the interest rate world, or what's going on in your finances, or what's going on in your marriage life and different things like that. So always stay educated. Read books. If you need a list, I have about 100 books that I recommend to people to read. I would say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, Unshakable, just a bunch of different books out. There's a book pretty much for everything out there. If you want to become the best of the best at what you do, you have to be educated, and you have to be able to practice and put that education to work. Because another thing is, education is only potential value, or it's only potential. Once you receive the education, you should act upon it if necessary as well. And the number 8 is to seek the help of experts and others. Remember, life is not meant to be lived by yourself. You can't do everything by yourself. The purpose of life is for us to, build around a team. Well, the purpose of life is to live purposefully in general. But overall, we must be able to put teams around us. We must be able to surround ourselves with the best people in order to get us to where we need to be. So I would say, if you don't know how to do your taxes, if you've never done your taxes before, or you know this tax plan has come out, you see some things you're confused about, don't be scared to pick up the phone and call the tax expert or tax advisor. Now, of course, you want to vet them. You want to make sure you know that they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about. Check out their website. You might just Google them, check them out, look at their credentials, look at their reviews and different things like that. Make sure that they're good. They're actually, sound professionals. And I always share this example. I'm not a plumber, so I'm not the guy that fixes my own toilet. I have my plumber for that. I'm not the guy that does the rehab on my homes that I do fix and flips. That's for my contractor, and that's not my job. So overall, you must be able to seek the help of experts. And this is what really separates, they call it the rich, why the rich get richer, they say. Because they utilize people that they know can help. You always want to do your research on these people. You don't just want to hire anybody. But if 10 people are recommending you somebody, they're probably a good candidate. So overall, seek the help of experts. If you're not a doctor, don't try to perform surgery on yourself. If you're not a lawyer, don't try to defend yourself in court. If you're not a CPA or an accountant or a tax advisor, you should not be doing your own taxes. If you've never fixed a toilet before, you should hire a plumber. If you've never done marketing or PR, you should hire a marketer. So always seek the help of experts. That's definitely one of the New Year's resolutions that I want you to have. And last but not least, please plan out your taxes accordingly, because this new tax bill has a lot of effects on us. I'll be sharing more with this during the next time when we meet. But ultimately, please be sure, because this tax bill is effective as of the beginning of next year. So all those exemptions and all those different things like that, you won't be able to do anymore. So it's very important to be able to plan out your taxes, and you're not just getting your W-2 or your W-9s or your 1099s or anything, and you're just leaving them to be. You must be able to plan. There's certain things that you can do today in order to improve your finances, and I will share those with you the next time we meet. It may be next week, it may be the following week, but just know that there's a lot of things that we can do in order to improve our finances. And so really, that's really it in a nutshell. So the 9 things that I talk about, remember, develop a budget and set goals, tangible goals, measurable goals. 2 is evaluate your savings goals. Number 3 is pay down some debt, some bad debt, not good debt. Number 4 is automate as much as you can. Put your life on autopilot. Number 5 is to think about organizing your financial documents. Number 6 is you absolutely must invest. This is required. This is not optional anymore. It's a must that we invest. Number 7 is we must educate ourselves. That's another thing we absolutely have to do. Number 8 is we absolutely have to seek the help of experts. We can't do things on our own. We're good at what we do. We're good at what we went to school for. Some people are. Or we're good at what our profession is. So if you're an accountant, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a dentist, you're good at that, and that's what you're good for. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a dentist, you can fix my teeth way better than I can. So you stick to that, and you put most of your time on that because you have a specialized skill. And then the things that you don't have, you go out and hire other people for. You don't even have to pay them as much. Let's say you're an attorney making $500 an hour. You think it's worth spending 5 hours on your tax return? That's $2,500 that you pretty much put out the door, when you could have paid $200, $250 or so to a tax expert who can get it done way quicker, way better, way more efficient than you can. So we absolutely have to seek the help of experts. And then last but not least, please plan out your taxes accordingly. This new tax bill that came out, it has a massive impact on Americans. It's going to affect millions and millions of people. I personally am not too big of a fan for it from my client's perspective. It's going to benefit me personally, but it's not going to benefit those that I truly care about. So really, that's really it for the presentation today. Really, New Year's resolution, financial edition. I mean, please, this stuff is very important. We can't go into 2018 the same way we ended 2017. If your finances are not in order, and I know this applies to a lot of Americans. This is not just a few. We're talking about a massive crowd of people, and this is not even just America. This expands worldwide. Financial illiteracy is a big, massive problem across the world today. So if you don't have these things, I encourage you to do these 9 things, these 9 very simple things. They will set you apart next year. They will put you on track for the right finances. They will prevent things like divorce. They will prevent things like being able to take care of your kids, spending time with your family, supporting your charities, spending time at church or doing Bible study or anything like that you really want to dedicate time to, volunteering. All those different things, they all come down to one thing, and one thing mainly, which is the money. And so we must have money. We must be able to build wealth, because it allows us to do a lot of different things that we want to do. Money is not everything, but man, I tell you, money can do a lot of different things. So I challenge everyone that's listening to really take ownership of your finances. That's been the theme of my presentations this year. I've given about 60 financial literacy presentations this year alone, not including this radio station. So that's my theme. I always like, and even when I work with clients, I like them to be the quarterback. I want them to be in control, not me. I'm just the coach. I'm just the guider. I guide people on how to do certain things. But I'm not the quarterback. I'm not the guy that throws the ball around. I'm the guy that coaches. I'm like, hey, you might want to throw it to this guy, or you might want to throw it to that guy. But I would never tell you that absolutely throw it to this guy, or I would never hold your hand and throw the actual ball. It's up to you to take ownership of those finances. And so really, that's really it for the presentation. I definitely thank everyone for tuning in. It's an absolute blessing to be able to be on this radio station. If you need some donations, if you need some tax write-offs, especially since this new tax bill came out, please go ahead and donate to the station, WGHC 98.3 FM, 501c3. You get your tax write-offs and different things like that. So if you remember, donations must be made by December 31st if you want them to count towards this year. So I encourage everyone, I challenge everyone to donate to the station, support the cause, support the good word and everything like that. So I definitely thank you all for tuning in to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. My name is Jeff Badu once again. I look forward to a successful tax season. Please call me 773-679-7198. Visit my website. Schedule an appointment. Do whatever you have to do to take ownership of your finances and get ahead in 2019. So thank you all for tuning in once again.
Minutes past the hour, and that is the community accountant, Brantia Papa, the financial guru, Jeff Badu. Jeff, against you.
Oh.
Thank you for another segment. And this is this will be the last but one segment, right? You have
Yes.
next week, and that will be your last for the
Yes,
year.
sir.
But I think so. We've been. This year has been great
Oh yeah.
because we, as a station, has given you. Again, if you're a professional out there, you want to be exposed, you want to use your skill set, your talent, your profession to educate the community. This is the platform for you. Jeff has been with us for a whole year, and he's with us. He helps us with our finances. He educates us and all those things. So you can come out and support us, as well as being able to, broadcast your profession and your resources and educate, actually.
That's
Educate
true.
and put forth awareness. So 24th community calendar 24th from the leadership of executive and leadership of WGAC, we are inviting the entire community to come out and end the year with us. Come out and end the year with us. This is end of year party with WGAC staff. You get to meet your favorite staff. If you weren't able to come to the Night of Legends, which is the prestigious event that we hold, you can come and be part of the end of year party with friends and loved ones at the Good Time Sports Bar, 210 East 35th Street, right on 35th between Indiana and by the police station on 35th.
Hey.
Yeah, so we are safe. Hey, just tell you we are safe. Come and it's a hosted bar. There'll be finger foods. Invite a friend. Just come celebrate the whole 24th. 9% here high life dance, but we replace the high life dance with just the end of year party next year, and there'll be a high life dance. This year, we just want to thank you guys. We want to thank our audience. We want to thank our listeners. We want to thank the community. Just come and celebrate with us. Good music, good food, good networking, good social life, and then we end the year that way. We should be grateful for having life, and being part of it. And then come out, bring a friend, bring your girlfriend, bring your concubines. No, just playing. Bring your wives, bring everybody, So let's celebrate. You have to be at least, I believe, 18 and up to enter. Come out and support us, and then also, and this is a way of us, thanking you guys for being loyal to us and also being part of the station for the entire year. Ghana National Council of the Metropolitan Chicago and its affiliates more at the 61st Ghana Independence Celebration at Brian. Say that I feel the almost say celebration of excellence. I was about to calendar so March 10th. And Najumedian Ebabasu was Chateau de Mar, 8301 South 95th Street. That's Hickory Hills. It'll be open bar and 4-course dinner. A lot of celebrations going to be happening there.
And we have tickets too.
Yeah, tickets are out now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, this year you guys are doing things early.
Oh yeah, very early.
I like that. Back was sitting in the dome. Tickets are available now.
Right now.
Right now.
And you should buy it if you want to deduct it on your tax return for next.
There you go. If you buy it now, you can deduct that $60.
Oh yeah.
And get it back for next year. Yeah. So come on and everybody support as we did last year. Same place last year. So this is what's happening in our community. So thank you, Abrantia Jeff Nyamishrao. As always, next year it's another year of money talks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we are here to impact. This station came to impact, came to save, came to really bring resolution and development to our communities worldwide.